Creating a weekly show can be one of the best ways to create an engaged, thriving community online. And in this video, we're going to talk about what it means to create a weekly show and how you can do just that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Polkuski, and on this channel, we talk all about video and live streaming and how you can use that to grow your business. Recently, I did a presentation for a group of local businesses talking all about live streaming and how they can use that to grow their business. And I want to talk to you, and I want to share one section of that where we talk about one of what I think is one of the key elements to creating that thriving online community, which is the weekly live streaming show. Let's jump on in. And we're going to talk about the weekly show. This is one of the things that I think is so crucial when you're developing a live streaming strategy. This is kind of what you really should be shooting for, in my opinion, is this weekly show. So what is a weekly show, and what do I mean by a weekly show? It is a live stream, a show. It can have a very specific structure, but what it really comes down to is this is something that happens every week at the same time, on the same day of the week, every single week. And it's something that people can get used to, that people know and can expect. And that's really where the value is. So why do you want to consider doing a live show, a weekly show? The big thing is because it's going to be a great way to get that content out there. This can be that foundation of your video strategy, of your content strategy in general as a business. And the weekly cadence is going to be perfect for building in that habit for people. You know, they're going to get used to it. They're going to know what time that they can expect to go on their morning walk with you and listen to you, or they can expect to be doing the dishes in the evening and know exactly when your show is going to be on. They can participate. They can be there, ready in the chats, ready to jump in and participate with you in that live show. And it's just a great way to really build up a relationship with people. Now, when you're doing a weekly show, one of the big things you need to have that consistency. Consistency is going to be kind of that key element. It's going to be what helps build that habit. It's going to be what helps build that foundation, kind of that marketing foundation for you of solid content. And then we can even talk a little bit more about some of the ways you can use your weekly show to branch off, to cover multiple different areas and create really solid SEO strategy, really solid, just different little spider webs, different little spokes that can go out there to bring people back to you and your business in order so that they can do more business with you. So with this element of the weekly stream, that's going to really be our foundation for the entire rest of this presentation, and it's really going to be what we think of as kind of that pinnacle piece. Now, I know many of you might already be thinking, already getting a little overwhelmed. What, I have to add this on as something that I need to do on a weekly basis? I have to kind of jump in and do this, or you might even be feeling just a little bit of overwhelm, because that is really the big key here. That's the big pitfall that so many people have that trips them up with this element, is they just get purely overwhelmed, not sure even where to start, how to begin, and specifically not sure what to say. What do I even talk about on this weekly show? So that's going to be one of the big things that's going to hold people back. But I wanted to just even know, as you guys are starting to think, maybe some brainstorms happening, what is the overall topic that you want? Not even like an individual show, but if you were going to do something weekly, if you're going to create some sort of live stream, if you were going to teach customers or potential customers about your business, about your expertise, about what you do, what is that topic that you want kind of for that overarching show? I'd love to hear it. Leave a chat. Let me know some of those things that you would use as kind of that overall topic piece. I would really love to hear more about that. And answering industry Q&A, absolutely perfect. That's a great one. That's a really good one. And that's going to be a great way to get started with a lot of this, is to think about what some of the questions that your customers or potential customers have just about the industry, just about doing business with you in general. I always like to have clients, we sit down and we'll brainstorm the 10 most frequently asked questions they get for their business. And that potentially could spin off into 10 episodes, 10 shows, or 10 weekly segments, or it could lead to more, could lead to less, but generally that's a good spot to just get started. But how else do you know what to say with your weekly show? Well, the thing you're going to want, a great thing to do to really help give you some foundation and kind of those guardrails to go with, is to create some sort of show flow, something that's can be consistent from week to week. It's the general flow, the general way it works. Like just like in this webinar today, we had the little intro piece. We talked a little bit about who I was, and then what this series is all about, and then we jump into the main content, and we're going to do Q&A afterwards. That's a very loose, but that right there is kind of a show flow for you. So I recommend that you really think about your show flow. And here is just a very basic example of what that could look like. Something you could start off with a hook. This is going to be great. You're going to want, and what I mean by a hook is like 15, 30 second something, it's that question that people might have or might be wondering. The reason they clicked on the video is what it comes down to. What is the question? The reason they clicked on this. So that's what your hook is going to be. And you want to be sure to have that right away up front with a lot of these live videos, because most people are going to watch the replay. We were even talking about this earlier when we first jumped on, that most of the views for this entire series has come from the recordings. It's more people watching after the fact than watching in the moment live. That's the same across all the platforms, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram and then throwing it to like an IGTV, whether it's Facebook. Almost all the views, multiples of the views happen after the fact on demand. But live is a great way to really get that engagement, to entice people to be there, show up, and create an event around that. So you have your hook, you could have a bumper. This could be, a couple 3-second, 5-second little intro piece. Think of like what you see on the news. It's that quick graphic that shows up, tells you what your overall business is about, what your overall show might be about. Then you have your introduction, kind of setting the stage for who you are, the show, and the topic you're going to be talking about. Then you can jump into the main content and really start diving into those content element pieces. And then you have your wrap up, and then you have your close. And we're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to jump back to this example a little bit later here. But that is the basic piece of that show flow. And really what it comes down to is, I don't want to overwhelm any of you. I want you to just really think about, what can we do? How can I have a basic, simple structure that I can just copy and paste that template and then throw in a lot of the main pieces, throw in the elements that we want to talk about that day. That's going to be a great way to really get started. Because the one thing I know I want to caution people about, they often will just want to jump in and do Q&A live streams with people. Oftentimes, when you're just getting started, unless you already have a really big audience, you're not going to be able to just do Q&As with people because, or at least without having questions prepared ahead of time, because there's a good chance you won't get people jumping on right away, and you won't necessarily get a lot of questions right away, which can make you feel awkward, which can feel weird, which can, increase the anxiety level a lot. And then it's just going to be a bad experience for you. You're going to feel like it's a bad experience for your audience. So then you're going to quit doing the show. Well, that's what we really want to avoid. We want to make this, again, a repeatable thing. So I highly recommend preparing and really thinking about what you want to jump into in the beginning. I want to check into some more of this stuff here. Awesome. All right, talking a little bit about your Action Coach weekly show. That's great. I love it. Submit questions, exactly. And again, glad I hit on that. I definitely try to get people to submit questions ahead of time. But then once people get used to you answering questions, seeing that you're answering commenters' questions, they're going to start throwing their own. It's going to be a great way to kind of build that momentum. And you can even think about how you want to display some of that. You could have a graphic that jumps on screen and shows the pre-selected questions. Things like that is going to be what helps really bring in some of that engagement to people. So I love that, and I love that we're thinking about that. Now, with this, I really want you to I know this can be a lot. We're talking about a weekly thing. I don't necessarily want to overwhelm you with a commitment. So I want you to just take action and get started now. So think about, how can I just get started and just go live with what I have? You don't even need to let your audience know that you're thinking about doing a weekly show or this might be the date. Don't even need to mention that. Just need to jump in and go live. That's really the first key. The only way you're going to get better at this stuff is by doing it, by really practicing, getting over a lot of the fears that people have. So I really want to encourage you to even pick a date, pick a time, pick a date. The brave ones of you can leave it in the chat, letting us know what your time and date that you're going to do your first live stream or your next live stream. For some of you that have gone live before, you can feel free to leave it in the chat. Let us know. I would love to see that and love to see. I definitely want to hear about it afterwards. So if you do go live, and let me know how it goes, send me a link, let me know. Would love to see a lot of that. Now, hopefully you're ready to get started creating your very own weekly show. If you're ready to get started and not sure what gear to get, I want to encourage you to go check out this video for an easy live streaming setup that's going to get you started with very little fuss, very little hassle. So go check out that video. And until next time, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single video. And I'll see you in the next one.